Hi everybody, my name is Dominique. I am the founder of This Girl's Worth, and I'm going to come to you with a quick video about one of the biggest mistakes that women make in relationships. So let me tell you a quick story. So I was in a relationship for 3.5 years with someone who I loved very deeply. I was in love with this person. But there were some issues. My partner was entitled. My partner didn't respect boundaries, didn't take accountability or responsibility for his actions. And so while in the relationship, there were various moments and various instances where my partner clearly didn't respect my boundaries. And I would try to communicate with him about how I didn't like something or how something made me feel or how something wasn't respectful. But his behavior would not change. And so every time I would communicate this, I eventually would get fed up and get to a breaking point, and I'd say, I can't deal with this any longer. If this persists or this continues, we're going to have to break up. We're going to have to separate. Well, every time we would get to that point, my partner would begin to change his behavior just long enough for me to get comfortable, and then it's like he'd revert back to his same behavior. Or sometimes that would no longer become a problem because he stopped doing that, but then the boundary would still be broken in some type of way, but just in a different way. So, for example, if I said, I'm not comfortable with you lying about situations where you interacted with women, I'd prefer for you to tell me the truth, then he would stop lying about that, but then he developed a lying habit in another place. So it was like I never was able to catch my breath in this relationship. Well, as time went on, I would continue to try to talk to him and communicate, and then after a certain point, the same cycle would continue. I'd get frustrated, and then I'd say, hey, I can't take this anymore, and then I would either threaten to break up, or sometimes we would break up. We'd break up, and then he would convince me and beg and swear that he changed his behavior and that wasn't a problem anymore. We'd get back into the relationship. Only a couple days go by, a couple weeks go by, and you guessed it, the same issue would pop up. And then I do the same thing. I say this is unacceptable, and then we'd break up, or I threaten to break up, and then he would beg to be back with me. And it was the same cycle literally for 3.5 years on various issues in the relationship until eventually I was fed up, I was done. And even after the breakup, he continued to do the same thing. Pop up, explain, apologize, and promise that it was no longer the same. Does it sound like a relationship you've been in? Have you been in a relationship with someone who consistently and continuously did not respect your boundaries, didn't respect your space? You felt like you had to communicate the same thing 1,000 times and nothing ever changed. And you just eventually got so frustrated that you threatened to either kick them out the house or to break up with them? Yeah. It's a normal human reaction to want to trust someone. If you're in a relationship with them, it's absolutely normal for you to want to see the best in them and to trust them and to give them chances to correct their own behavior with things. Where it gets a little bit tricky in the scenario is when we don't properly set boundaries and we don't let our yeses mean yes and our no means no. What does that mean? It means that when we break up with them, we wait for them to say the right thing or to fix the behavior. And if they seem like they're doing so, then we let them back into our lives and we let them back into our space. That's where we make the mistake. When someone crosses our boundary and we choose to separate from this person, we have to let that no and that separation mean absolutely that, just no. When it came to my ex, I had a soft spot for him. I recognized that. And he could say anything. He could say the right thing, and it would make me feel comfortable. It would make me want to be back with him. It would make me want to give him another chance because I didn't want to break up, but I had to break up to set that boundary because he wasn't respecting me. But my heart wasn't fully there. And I had to recognize that I have to say what I mean and I have to mean what I say. A lot of us get into these toxic relationships where the same cycles repeat themselves, and we break up as a method of setting boundaries because we don't know what to do. Breaking up and separating shouldn't be there was no other choice or there was nothing for us to do. It should be a conscious decision and an effort on your part to end and put an end to the madness that you're experiencing. A lot of us use it instead as a tool to get a person to act right. We use it as a manipulation tool in a relationship. There's no other option but for me to kick you out, and maybe that'll fix your behavior. So that's why men can come back into our lives and say the right thing or do the right thing, and then all of a sudden our hearts are open again, because really we didn't really mean that we wanted them to leave our lives. We really just meant we want them to fix their behavior because we still want them. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, well, Dominique, What else am I supposed to do? I tried everything. I tried communicating. I love this person, but I won't be with them if they can't treat me right. And you're absolutely right. You shouldn't be with someone who can't treat you right. What I'm saying is, if you're choosing to break up with your partner, break up with them. Mean it. Separate from them and absolutely hold them accountable. Like for me, in that instance in my story, all he had to do was say the right thing, and I was willing to let him back into my life. But I had to realize that it was his actions that brought me to that place. So if I was willing to let him back into my life, he should have been willing to prove to me that that was no longer a problem or behavior problem or behavior pattern. Words were not enough. And so a lot of us, I know you're thinking, like, if he doesn't say it and I don't give him a chance to prove it, then how can I know if he's actually the person, if he's actually going to correct his behavior? That can't be your problem. What should be your concern is you setting the boundaries and putting your best interest at the forefront of your healing journey, at the forefront of your life, and putting yourself first. You didn't break up with them so that they can get in line. Breaking up should never be used as a threat to your partner because you're trying to get them to act right. If your partner genuinely cared about you, you wouldn't ever be in that position in the first place. I know it's a harsh truth, but you should never have to threaten your partner to get right, or else you won't be in the relationship. That's something that your partner should already acknowledge as you're communicating with them, but we have to be realistic that that doesn't always happen. But if you realize, hey, I tend to be in relationships longer than I should be, one, or two, it's like I'm repeating the same cycles. Like, I tell them it's a problem, I threaten to break up, they fix their behavior for a little while, and then we go back to square one. Let your yeses mean yes, no means no. I know it's uncomfortable. I know the harsh reality of, okay, well, what if we never get back together? And what if this and what if that? Well, if you're not ready to let them go, you find other coping mechanisms to be in your relationship. When you're going through that cycle where you continue to dishonor yourself, where you're continuing to devalue yourself, and you're letting someone abuse you, one, you're teaching your abuser, because that's what it is. When someone makes you basically beg for you to be treated right, then they're abusing you. When you keep going back to your abuser, or you allow your abuser to not work to come back into your life, or to earn being back in your life through consistent behaviors and words and actions, then you're teaching your partner that they can manipulate you easily, and all they have to do is say the right thing and you'll let them back in. One. Two, you'll begin to hate yourself more and more because you continue to let someone step over you, and you're doing it out of love, as you call it, but really you're sacrificing yourself, which is the highest form of love, but that should not be taken advantage of. That's not for everybody. You shouldn't sacrifice yourself for everyone. That's a really precious thing to do, and you should do it for something that you know is worth it. And if you look at your relationship and you say this relationship is not worth it, do not sacrifice yourself. And that means that you have to let your yes mean yes and your no mean no, and be honest and intentional about it. And three, you're also teaching your abuser that they don't have to work for you or your heart. They don't have to work to be in your life. So you're getting surprised that, one, you've taught them it's okay when you hurt me, if you say the right thing, you can get back into my life and have access to me. And two, well, then you're shocked when they're in a relationship and they're no longer working for you. And it's like, well, because you taught them that to get you, it's as easy as saying the right thing, and that's it. They don't need to really work for it. And that if they were to, the breakup is not that serious because they know that they're going to be back with you. I guarantee you, if you broke up with them and you stayed away and you moved on with your life and they really wanted you, they're going to work that much harder to get you because they realize, like, she's serious about what she's saying. She means it. She's not going to sit there and just let me walk in and out of her life. She's not going to let me mistreat her. She's not going to let me abuse her. She already knows who I am, and she's not going to deal with that and put up with that. So I need to level up to be with her because she says what she means and she has integrity. That's not to say, again, because I know a lot of women will hear this and they think, well, I need to manipulate men. The goal is not to manipulate men. The goal is not to manipulate anyone. That's the reason why you breaking up and letting them get back together with you all the time is a bad thing, because even if it's not intentional, you're manipulating them, because you're basically saying that the only threat that I have is to remove you from my life, but I'm not serious about it. It's teetering on the line. It's back and forth. It's it's halfway, half in and half out. Like, I want you here, but I'm not going to have you here, but I'm going to get you to act right, and this is the only way I can get you to act right, is threatening to break up with you. If you're not going to be serious about breaking up, then find a way to cope with the relationship. But don't teach your abuser that it's okay to walk in and out of your life, because trust me, that will not be the first time they do it. It won't be the 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th. And they'll continue to do it as long as you let them, until you literally permanently close the door and say absolutely never again. So I hope that this information was helpful for you. I hope that it was convicting for you. Let me know if you've been in a relationship that was like that. Let me know if you've been in an off again, on again relationship. Let me know if you were in a relationship where you didn't set proper boundaries and you continued to let someone in your life and out of your life and in your life and out of your life, and you just kept going back and forth like that. We all do it. It's young and old women. We all just, our hearts, we just want to stay in situations that are not good for us. For whatever reason, we make these decisions and mistakes. But I'm telling you, it'll hurt to set that boundary. It'll hurt to be like, you can't walk in and out of my life, but you'll feel so much better about yourself. What I want to say is, like, as women, we have to protect our sense of peace, because that's really what we have to give to other people. That's what we have and how we show love. And we can't love from that place of neediness and that love of, wanting someone there so much, or, and sometimes it's not even because we're insecure in ourselves. It's just because we got in the habit of loving that person, so therefore we want it to work at all costs. But how much are you willing to sacrifice yourself to make that relationship work? And when people are in on again and off again relationships, it's really just that we're sacrificing ourselves. We want to make that relationship work so bad that we're willing to let someone abuse us to make it happen. And we're telling them, like, it's okay if you mistreat me, because I'm not willing to walk away from you permanently. Be willing to walk away. Be willing to say, you're not going to treat me like that. Be willing to say, when I said what I said, I meant what I said, and I'm going to act on it. I deserve more than this. Love yourself enough. And when I say love yourself, I mean honor yourself. Honor yourself enough to walk away and to stay gone from situations that don't honor you. And relationships are the biggest culprit. Those are the ones we walk back and forth to the most. And we allow people in and out of our lives the most. Let your yes mean yes, and your no mean no. So thank you so much for listening to this video. I hope that it resonated with you. Hopefully this will help you in your decision to let your yeses mean yes and to let your no mean no. So if you're going to walk away from that relationship and you're saying you're going to break up, and you're setting that boundary, that you actually stick to it, that you respect yourself enough to listen to your own boundaries. And hopefully, if you've been through that type of situation, it gives you clarity as to why maybe you stayed and dealt with stuff for so long, as you weren't ready to go. But we've all been through situations like that where we want to believe someone's lie more than the evidence supports. And so, I hope that you find peace in watching this video. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment. Let me know if you've been in an on again, off again relationship. Let me know if this advice holds true to you. Let me know if you've done the whole walking away multiple times but not really walking away. It's kind of like a rom-com movie where you walk away but you hope that someone chases you. That's kind of what we do when we break up, but we don't actually mean it. We love them, we want them around, we want things to work out with them, but we're not ready to let them go. But we hope that this will be the wake-up call that they need to get things right, so we can stay with them. But ultimately, we can't manipulate anyone into treating us right. We have to stay secure in our boundaries. So again, let me know in the comments your experience. Let me know if this resonates with you. Let me know if you have any other advice that you'd love to share. Please remember to keep it positive in the comments, because this is a positive channel. In addition, you can get connected to all of my platforms, thisgirlsworth.com, which is my blog. You can get connected to This Girl's Worth also on Twitter and Instagram. It's just at This Girl's Worth. You can also follow me on my personal Instagram at WithLoveDominique. That's WITHLOVE.DOMONIQUE. All right, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful night. Hopefully you get connected. Hopefully you subscribe and hit that notification bell. Hopefully you leave a comment letting me know your experience. And I hope to see you again soon. Bye.